Fear can be paralyzing, whether it's the fear of mistakes, the fear of failure, the fear of letting others down, or just the fear of not meeting expectations. Whatever it is, fear can really hold us back from trusting our capabilities and attacking what we want. I'm Dr. Cassie Preston, a mental performance coach and the founder of CP Mindset. And today we're going to talk about how to go from a fear mindset to an attacking mindset. In most sports, let alone any area of life, it pays to have an attacking mindset. In sports like hockey, soccer, basketball, this often means taking the puck or the ball and attacking the net. While sports like tennis, golf, baseball, softball, this can mean not being afraid and fully committing to the shot or the pitch. And in life, this means having the important conversations, putting yourself out there, or anything else related to going after your dreams. So this is clearly an important topic. And I previously did a video a few years ago that touched on this regarding redefining success and using a 3-4 mindset. But today I wanted to share a new concept that has been helping athletes really get over the hump and go from holding on to fear to truly getting into this attack mindset. Now, specifically, I'm going to walk you through 3 steps to developing an attacking mindset. And you can see here, if you're watching the video, step 1 is about differentiating. What does it mean, the mental state of the attack versus fear? We want to make that clear. And then the big part here is step 2, how to actually break through that fear and go from a fear mental state to the attack. And then importantly, though, we want to bring it home with how to lock it in. Don't want you just in the attacking mindset once, want to consistently show up in that mental state. So that's what we're going to cover. And before we jump in, I just want to again get a little reminder here that like, subscribe, follow us at CP Mindset. If you're interested in mental performance coaching, you can find out more at cpmindset.com. So let's jump right into step 1, differentiate. And what this means is we want to understand that the fear mindset, I'll put this in red here. Again, those that are watching, if you're listening, find us on YouTube. But the fear mindset, what does that exactly mean? And usually the biggest thing is there's some kind of fear or you're afraid of mistakes. And so because we're afraid of mistakes, we often start to doubt the results and our capabilities. And so there's a little bit of a combination going on. And the biggest thing is you're not in the present moment. You're now worrying about the results in the future, or you're hung up and worrying and get caught up in the past, or that's affecting the future. Bottom line is clearly we don't want to be in the fear mindset. And the second one here, I'll put this one in blue, the attack mindset is all about, instead of being afraid of mistakes, you're willing to make a mistake. And that's the huge jump that we want to jump from afraid to willing to be able to make a mistake. And that's not easy. And step 2 is going to break that down. But instead of also the doubt, we're going to just trust our capabilities, and we know what our capabilities are. And we have other videos about confidence about that you can check out. But the other last part to the attack mindset and understanding this mental state is, instead of worrying about the past or future, you're in the moment. You're just trusting yourself. You're letting it happen. That's a huge part. So this is a nice little trifecta of what it means to be in the attack mindset. Now, I've got one other category in here to make sure we're clear about, which is reckless. And that would be going way too far. And we're overly careless. We don't care about anything or mistakes. We are just completely overly being aggressive, or in that overcompensating type mental state where it's like you're trying to prove others, so much that you actually do too much, and you're just being reckless. So clearly we don't want to be here either. So let's now move on to step 2, because that's how we're going to go from fear to attack. All right. So now that we're on step 2, breaking through the fear, this is the key concept. And there's 2 big points that I want to highlight. And you can see over here, I've got the fear athlete versus the attack athlete. And each athlete's going to make mistakes. I'll put a nice little X on both sides. And when we look at that concept, I hope it's pretty clear that the fear mistake is not as good as the attack athlete's mistake. We don't want either. Nobody wants to make mistakes, but one of these mistakes is better. Okay. That's the attack athlete one. It wins. It's the better type of mistake. But what's interesting is, and so most of us get that, but then we're still afraid. Nobody wants to make mistakes. And if you're afraid of mistakes, what do you end up in? The fear mindset. What's interesting is when we look at the fear athlete that makes a play, not necessarily a great play, but they made the safer play, and it worked out. It's nothing bad. And that's clearly, though, better than an attacking athlete making a mistake. And so logically, we get then afraid, and we're like, okay, well, the fear athlete's the way to go because I don't want to make mistakes. And so if we just looked at that one play, the fear athlete's actually ahead. But what's important to then look at is the long scheme, because that fear athlete is going to make those mistakes. And yes, they're making plays, but so will the attack athlete. And what's going to be better in the long run? It's clearly the attack athlete is way better off for it because their mistakes aren't as bad and the impact of these matter. And even this over here, the impact of the fear athlete's plays made that worked out, it's not as great. They're just like soft plays. They're safe plays. They're not really fully going after it. And it's this mindset where we fully go after is where we maximize impact. And so what I'm trying to do and make sure is very clear is we don't want to just logically know that the attack athlete is better and serves us better. We want to have our feelings align with that, that we feel and we can see that within our game, in our sport, that I'm going to go out there and attack. I'm going to go after and play the way that I want because it's better for me in the long haul. Sometimes in the short run, that fear athlete could be a little bit ahead, but in the long haul, it doesn't serve us. Let alone, not only does it help impact, it also helps us grow over here. These mistakes, you're actually growing from the attack athlete mistake versus the fear. So that's the main concept. And I want to break that down even a little bit further in this little diagram. And I got this from a book called The Tools, and they call it the reversal or the reversal of desire is what it's called. But the whole idea is this is you, it's my little stick, man. And you want to get into this attack mindset. Nice little check mark over here. Well, how do we get there? Well, the actually idea, and that's what we call this breaking through the fear, is the fears here. And this fear could be of mistakes, could be of what other people think, could be of, not getting to the next level as quickly or scoring or whatever it is. And we have to go through it. And a lot of times we stay in our comfort zone and we revert back. And we're afraid of the fear and we don't go through the fear and we stay therefore in that fear mental state. And so this is a nice imagery and diagram to understand when we talk about reset routines and acceptance and getting centered on game day performance days is about actually going through it. And so we see and understand and accept, like we did on the last slide, that the attack athlete and that mental state, that's what it's about. And that the mistakes are part of it. And so again, just to make this really clear, this is just an imagery and a tool that then we get athletes to use to help them break through that fear, get into that attack mindset. So use that if it helps. And then to bring this home, let's jump into step number 3, where we lock it in. And so one of the things we've done already today is become more aware. And that's a crucial step. And everything we do with athletes and executives, we have to be aware of the mental states that we're in and what matters. And so measuring that matters. And so I'll have athletes measure what percentage are you in the attack mindset versus fear. And it might be, I'm at like 70% attack right now. Okay, well, that's good. That's a starting point. And I encourage you to be looking at yourself right now. What percentage am I? And you can look at specific areas of your performance game. When I have the puck or when I'm in these situations, what percentage are you showing up as the attack mental state versus that means the rest is in the fear. So 30 in this situation. Then step 2 is the standard, because what we want you to do is set your standard for 95 plus. Not about perfect, but I'm doing my best to be in that attack. If you're at 80, 85, even like close to 90, it's pretty good, but that last 5% is huge. And I'll probably be making a whole video just about these 3 steps in a little more detail in the next month or so. But in the meantime, right now, set that standard for 95% plus, and where you're fully immersed. And I'm fully doing my best to be in attack mindset. But then the third big point to help you lock it in is the tools and consistently using the tools. And I won't get too much into it now, but there's things like the reset routine that I've alluded to earlier. And the idea about the reset routine, it's acceptance. It's the imagery that I just showed you on the previous slide and understanding that you go through the fear. And so it could be something where, you take a drink of water, do 3 deep breaths, and then focus on going through that and moving forward and getting out into attack mindset. So it's a little routine you create for practices in games. And that's what we do in the programs. The other cool things to think about with that is like an alter ego. So we do this in our programs as well. And the idea here is like, who can you associate with an attack mindset? And also, who do you associate with the fear mindset? And you create this persona. It's like, hey, I don't want to show up as this person. This is how I do show up. And there's a lot more to that exercise, but that combined with the reset routine is a great 1-2 punch. The other tool that you can do right now, and we do it more thoroughly in our programs, but you can think about and make sure you're doing, is reflection. And this tool is simply, it's your own personal scorecard, is another way to look at it. And the idea is you're reflecting consistently on this first part, the awareness. Oh, how did I do today? Oh, I'm up to 80%. Great. I'm up to 90. Okay, great. Okay, let's get to 95. And that consistent reflection helps you become more self aware so you can get better at self correcting. And so it's a huge part. And the last of our main four fundamental tools is imagery. And so you can apply this to this concept too, where it's setting your intention. Okay. It's on game day or leading up to the game, games in the weekend or a big situation. How am I going to show up? Set my intention for not just what am I going to do, but how am I going to do it? How do I want to feel in the mental state? And so that matters. You can also do it with coping playing or playing to cope. Oh, well, what if I make a mistake? Well, then I reset and I stay in the attack mindset, not fall into and let myself get caught up back into the fear mindset. So that's it. That is the 3 steps that we covered today. So to review, you can stop having fear paralyze you, hold you back from getting after what you want. And you can get into that attack mindset by using those 3 steps. And that's again, differentiate, know what it is for you. Then make sure you know how to break through the fear. And you look at those concepts, you get into the alignment of the thoughts, feelings, and actions. That's the huge key step here. But then you got to lock it in. And that's knowing your awareness, having the tools, and having the high standard. Those 3 things are key. So if you found it helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, reach out if you have any questions. And if you're interested in learning more about our programs and mental performance coaching, check out cpmindset.com. See you in the next video.